Hello and welcome to our fourth race of the Bette Jalle F1 Season 9 Tour. Today we'll be in Monaco at the Circuit de Monaco. My best Monacan accent. Very exciting to bring you this race here today. It is our first F1 race this season on stream, so certainly lots to catch up all of our faithful viewers with as we await our first drivers out onto the track for this short qualifying. Alright, leading the way right now in qualifying is the man, the myth, the Crunchy legend. That's right, it's Crunchy Trees as he's out for his out lap. Just to catch you up on where we sit, 3 races in so far. Vapor Trench leading the way right now with 69 points. Close behind is Ace Cobalt, formerly known as Vapor Cobalt, with 61 points. Then Let's Get Fiscal a few points down at 31 in third. Joint third with Fiscal is Justice, also 31 points. Then we have Red Sniper Eye in 5th with 16 points. Also, joint 5th is Josh Smithness, 16 points as well. In 7th is this man right here, Crunchy Trees, with 14 points. Big Baguette is in 8th with 12 points. He'll look to change his luck here in Monaco. In 9th, Worry Cloud with 10. Joint 9th is Lesty the Twig, also 10. And then down in 11th, we have Trulson with 9 points. As Crunchy Trees is now into his hot lap here through the very speedy Sector 1. Let's see what this man has to offer as he looks to post our first qualifying lap. As you may remember from seasons past, this is one of our shorter track coming in at about 3 1/3 kilometers. Nighttime driving, of course, one of the draws of this beautiful track as we see Crunchy Trees head through the tunnel of this back straight. A lot of action in this tunnel last season, so it should be a lot of fun to see how the drivers handle it here as we see Crunchy Trees unfortunately invalidate there around turns 10 and 11 as he is caught corner cutting. Heading up now, let's take a look on board with Red Sniper Eye into the beginning stages of Sector 2 on his hot lap. Let's see how he does. Red Sniper Eye, who secured a racing seat last season to be a full-time driver, off and away now the team leader, of course, for Racing Point. As we see, Let's Get Fiscal set our first lap at 1 minute and 10 seconds and about 0.5 of a second. Still alongside here with Red Sniper as he comes across turns 18 and 19, 19 being our last corner, and comes across the line at just a shade under 1 minute and 10 seconds with 0.3 of a second. We do have a new current pole, that's Big Baguette. Big Baguette, our Season 8 champion, currently in 8th place in the standings, so lots of work to do for Big Baguette. Also, this man Trulson definitely needs to get something going. Of the first 3 races, we've seen him be DNF'd in 2 separate ones, so definitely looking for a bit of better luck is Trulson here in Monaco. Revisiting last season, our friend Greeny actually took the checkered flag here in Monaco last year, currently not with us, unfortunately. Second last year was Let's Get Fiscal. Vapor Trench finished in 3rd. Sorry, yes, still Vapor Trench. KJ finished in 4th, and Big Baguette finished in 5th. That was Season 8. Of course, things will be changing here in Season 9. Let's join up now with, let's see, who's on a lap here. We'll pop on board with Gino Giuseppe as he's finishing up his out lap. And we'll see what kind of time he can offer here as he's into Sector 2 on this out lap. Last week in the Netherlands, we saw 7 DNFs. And for those of you keeping track at home, that's a whole lot. We saw Trulson DNF. We saw KJ DNF. We saw Lesty the Twig DNF. We saw Volkman DNF. We saw Gorley. We saw Zenica. We saw Cloud. All of those drivers, unfortunately, did not finish in the Netherlands. And now they'll face the very tough challenge of having to bounce back at a very difficult track in Monaco. As you see the Red Bull driver come around here into Sector 3, finishing up his outlap. We'll stay right on board with him to see what kind of qualifying time we get as he slows pace just a little bit to allow, it looks like Sim, to maybe get a little bit of distance before he begins his hot lap. Gino puts the throttle down, and we'll see what he can give us here. As Gino comes around the very interesting and difficult turns 5, 6, and 7 into the hard right turn 8, which takes you through the tunnel. Bit of a bend in the tunnel, that'll be turn 9. Coming up to turns 10 and 11, where we saw Crunchy Trees unfortunately invalidate his lap. We'll see a lot of corner cutting on these turns. You have to be careful to get back out of turn 11 so as you don't pop your tire on that corner. Turn 12 is a left right into turn 13 and 14, coming around now into turns 18 and our final turn 19. And Gino Giuseppe will set a time here. Let's see where it puts him. About 1 minute and 12 seconds and 5/10 of a second. So right now, currently at the back, we do have qualifying times from all of our racers. Right now, Big Baguette currently still on pole. As you see, Ace Cobalt, again formerly known as Vapor Cobalt, back on another hot lap. Let's see if he can jump current pole setter Big Baguette. As we see him having just started his first sector, finishing that sector about 0.02 of a second slower than his first attempt. So definitely going to have to make up some time here in the much slower sector 2. Not a lot of places to pass here in Monaco. Certainly important to get up just about as high as you can on these qualifying laps, as you really don't have a lot of opportunities to pass outside of course, safety cars and drivers pitting. And it looks like he's going to be just a shade off the pace he needs to catch Big Baguette, and he will give the brakes a tap and maybe set up for his next hot lap here, as it seems like he'll just jump right into another hot lap. Let's see how he does here. First 2 turns are very, very fast. Into turns 3 and 4, which you'll barely feel any sort of braking. He does set a purple sector in sector 1 and shaves off 0.2 of a second. So if he can continue this pace, it looks like we may have a new pole, at least for now. We'll have to see if he can stay with this extremely quick pace through sectors 2 and 3. As he gets through the tunnel portion into that difficult turn 10, turn 11, and just to not invalidate around those corners. And let's see where he's looking into sector 2. Another purple sector. He's now 0.4 ahead of his previous pace, so this will be good enough for the pole if he can have a strong finish here. Definitely took that turn maybe a little wider than he wanted to. We'll see how he finishes here. It still should be good enough. Indeed it is good enough for the pole. Sector 3 almost cost Ace Cobalt there, but managing with an incredible sectors 1 and 2 to make up for a bit of a wide turn 18 there. And now we'll see Big Baguette, see if he can claim that pole position back from Ace Cobalt. We'll stay on board with Big Baguette to see what he can offer up. See if Mellengarden gets out of the way. Indeed he does. Oh, but unfortunately Big Baguette unable to really cleanly get by Mellengarden there. And he'll have to maybe give it another go. Hopefully no damage from him. Let's see here. Let's get Fiscal on a hot lap through the tunnel. Let's hop on board with him. So it looks like he might be able to shave off maybe half a second or so from his previous time. Ooh, he'll definitely invalidate there. So no time from Let's Get Fiscal. Hopping on board now with Crunchy Trees as he looks to secure himself a spot inside the top 10. Bit of bumping off the walls there. That'll slow him down, unfortunately. Probably not set him up for a fast enough sector to really jump on board. Let's take a look at how close these times are. I mean, KJ only about 200ths of a second back from Let's Get Fiscal. Really from P3 through P13, less than a second separates those 10 positions. So very, very close for sure. Let's take a look now with KJ. KJ, who ran a very good race here last year, finishing in 4th, which in this field is very difficult to do. Definitely could use a good finish once again in Monaco, as currently with only 2 points. So KJ could definitely use a solid finish here in Monaco, a track that last year he looked to enjoy quite a bit. And we'll see how he does here as he comes down to the last couple of turns. And it looks like he's going to be very happy with this, I think. Indeed he will be. He'll jump up to P3. Nice work from KJ there to jump Let's Get Fiscal. And Crunchy Trees also, despite a bit of bumping off the walls, managing to come into P5. Mellengarden, meanwhile, setting a very nice lap time with a purple sector 3. Well done, Mellengarden. That's good enough for P3 currently. Let's see, so we got about 5 minutes left in qualifying. Ori Cloud has unfortunately invalidated. Those fellas have just finished. Big Baguette looks like he's going to take one more crack at Ace Cobalt. Let's Get Fiscal on an outlap right now. Let's see if he can get back in the top 5 to start this race. As he comes up to turns 18 and 19, where he'll sit for a moment before shooting through turn 19 up to the start finish, right on that inside wall all the way up to turn 1, where he comes out just a little wide to be able to get the best corner possible. Bit of contact on the left side, shouldn't slow him down too terribly much, as we see him take turn 2 without any sort of braking. Turn 3 maybe a little bit off the accelerator, turn 4 to the right. Very nice work here from Let's Get Fiscal. Now into the very challenging section here, turn 5, 6, and 7. As he comes out of turn 6, looking very nice into turn 7. And out of turn 8 now into the tunnel. Nice work from Let's Get Fiscal. Barely feels that turn 9 as he's still full on the accelerator coming up to these interesting turns 10 and 11. Manages to miss the contact off the left wheel coming out of turn 11. Turn 12 into sector 3. Fiscal's looking very fast here as he sets a purple. Oh, and unfortunately does invalidate and almost loses it and sends it into the wall. Was looking very speedy there. That was a little unlike the Fiscal that we've come to watch in the last few seasons, as loses it just a little bit trying to get that edge. It looked like he was on track for a very impressive time. Look at the difference here between Crunchy Trees and Let's Get Fiscal. 0.02 of a second. I mean, that is barely differentiable. Differentiatable. That's a word, right? Yeah, we're going to say that's a word. Looking now down at Nicholas Volkmann, who's on a hot lap. Nicholas Volkmann, of course, one of our drivers who was unfortunately DNF'd during the last race in the Netherlands. Nicholas Volkmann also needing to get things going, has yet to score points this season. And Volkmann looks like he's going to try another high lap. I'm not sure he's got the gas to get through it, so we'll flip off from there. Check in with Gourlay. Gourlay also having DNF'd in 2 of our first 3 races. Also another driver who needs to get things going here in one of the hardest tracks to do so. Also currently pointless in this season. Gourlay, who really seemed to kind of catch his stride at the end of last season. Starting a little slow so far here in Season 9. So certainly another driver who could use a strong finish here in Monaco. Ooh, as we see a little bit of contact on the left side coming out of turn 10 into turn 11, and then contact with the left wall there out of turn 11. Not what Gourlay was looking for. So for those of you down in the chat, feel free to let me know what your predictions are for the race. Who do you think makes a strong finish here in Monaco? Who do you think the driver of the day ends up being? Do we have more or less than, let's set the number at 5 DNFs here in Monaco? All of those things, throw them down in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. As we reach just about the end of qualifying here, a couple of drivers still out on the track, having one more quick go at it. But we are reaching the end of qualifying with our grid all but set. I still have Trulson out there, maybe having one more go at it. Nowhere near where he needs to be to move up, however. Let's see, Melon Garden, probably not exactly in a, yeah, definitely not now after that contact. And it looks like all of our drivers are basically getting set up. Let's Get Fiscal, maybe the last one to put a time in. Looks like it's gonna be a pretty strong time here. Let's see if he moves up at all. Indeed he does, all the way up to P3, and that might be our final racer to come across here in qualifying. So Let's Get Fiscal able to show off impressive pace to jump KJ Trulson and Melon Garden up to P3. Still very, very close times all the way up and down this grid. Should be quite a good time. And let's see if anyone else is out. So this is all but set, I would imagine. Gino having invalidated his lap. I believe we are all ready to go here, just waiting for our drivers to reach back into the pits. Our grid is going to look a little something like Ace Cobalt out in pole. Big Baguette will start with Open Road in front in P2. Then we have Let's Get Fiscal starting in P3, Melon Garden P4, Trulson P5, KJ P6, Crunching Trees P7, Red Sniper P8, Vapor Trench P9, Gourlay P10, Worried Cloud P11, Nicholas Volkmann P12, Josh Smithness P13, Gino Giuseppe P14, Leslie the Twig P15, and rounding out our grid of 16 here today, we'll have Sim the Legend starting in P16. So an exciting qualifying. I mean, we can just look at these gaps. They're minute. Big Baguette, less than a 1/10 of a second gap between himself and Cobalt. Let's see any other super tight gaps here. That's about 4/100ths of a second between KJ and Crunchy. Little less than a 1/10 of a second, or sorry, a 1,000th of a second, I should say. No, 100th of a second. There we go. I found it eventually. Between Gourlay and Worried Cloud. Here in America, we're not really taught the maths like you European folks are. All right, so with the grid set, we'll get started here. It's going to be a nice and dry race, which is a relief after last season's wet Monaco race. So hopefully that will keep our drivers on the track. Fingers crossed. All right, and as we get this formation lap underway, let's see. This announcer get our spectator menu up and running. There we go. Let's take a look at these tires that we have. Our top 9 drivers are on softs. Worried Cloud will start on the mediums. Red Sniper with that 5 placement penalty, grid penalty, will start back in P13 now. Let's see. So medium tires, we've got Worried Cloud, Nicholas Volkman, Gino Giuseppe, Leslie the Twig, and Sim. Mellengarden and Trulson on the formation lap. Unfortunately, unable to get around this turns 6 and 7, so they'll have to wait back at the start-finish for the rest of this grid to come through. "39 laps on the docket here in Monaco." I imagine it will be very entertaining top to bottom, as Monaco always is, especially now with our 4th and 5th place driver not really going to be able to get their tires warmed up. Could lead to some interesting shenanigans. I'm not sure if you recall, if you weren't watching last season, go back and watch the Monaco races, both the F2 and F1. We really struggled to get out of the first lap in both of those events. Hopefully a little less trouble here today as our drivers approach their places on the grid. And we'll have Ace Cobalt lead us around here through this first lap. As we see the lights come on. And away we go. Off and running here in Monaco. Let's see what kind of nonsense we see around this first turn. It looks like it, oh, we do have a wreck. We do indeed have a wreck. That looks like it was Gourlay. Oh, a lot of damage back here. Leslie the Twig, Sim, all of those guys really having trouble around that first turn, but it looks like nobody's out of the race quite yet. Wow, a lot of damage there. We'll have to take a moment to see who got the worst of that once this grid resets. And it looks like Gourlay, Gino, and Leslie the Twig were the big losers in that early wreckage. As we come out, Ace Cobalt still out in the lead with Big Baguette, a little bit more than a half second behind, and then quite the gap over to Let's Get Fiscal. Saying 5 seconds, but that can't be right. I'd say it's closer to about maybe half a second as well. We'll wait for that to sort itself out. As we see the front 8, 9, 10 drivers all very, very close here, packed together. As Ace Cobalt sets our fastest time here in lap 1. We are through the first lap and still racing. No safety car, no virtual safety, despite the wreckage there through the first turn. Let's see what's going on here at the back as we see 4 drivers pitting. That's Gourlay, Smith, Nassim, Legend, and Gino, all taking damage from that first collision around our first lap. And we'll just basically have to wait and see from here on out as we see Mellengard very, very, very close to Crunchy Trees through the tunnel here. Let's see if he opts to make a move or maybe wait until we get DRS here. That'll have to be a warning, I would imagine, for Mellengard and cutting coming out of turn 10 into turn 11. Still very close back here indeed. And Cobalt setting another fastest lap. Now stretching out that interval over a second on top of Big Baguette. Mellengard still very close to Crunchy Trees, just 0.2 of a second, looking to see if he can find a place to make that move on Crunchy Trees and get himself in the top 5 early on in this race. Lap time should come in right around about a minute, between a minute and 8 seconds to a minute and 12 seconds, I would imagine, for most of this race, assuming solid safe driving throughout. Let's see if Mellengard handles this. Yeah, much better at that time for Mellengard, as Crunchy Tree's lucky to not make contact with that left corner of turn 11. Very easy to do. Meanwhile, Red Sniper into the wall. He'll get it back on the track. But Nicholas Wolfman will pass that man no problem. Leslie the Twig, unfortunately late to the party, not able to get a pass in as well. Hopping back up to Trulson, about 0.2 of a second back from Let's Get Fiscal. We do have DRS enabled from here on out, assuming that we don't get a safety car. ERS-wise, looks like Trulson will have the edge on Let's Get Fiscal. Let's see if Fiscal can hold him off here in Monaco. See Trulson get an excellent exit up top out of turns 6 and 7. Through the tunnel here, still very close. For the most part, Let's Get Fiscal having fallen behind about a second from Big Baguette, but is gaining a little bit of ground on Trulson. Meanwhile, checking back in with Mellengard on the back of Crunchy Trees, still here in lap 4. Another yellow flag. This time it looks like it's Nicholas Volkman. And Red Sniper takes back that position on Nicholas Volkman. Red Sniper looking to make up a little bit of time after meeting the wall. As we know, the wall almost always wins those encounters. We see Mellengard right on the back of Crunchy Trees there. Sitting here in the cockpit with Vapor Trench, currently in P7, having won already 2 races this year. We'll have to see when and where Vapor Trench makes his move, because it's certainly not a matter of if, but of when it comes to Vapor Trench. And both Red Sniper and Volkman are in the pits to hopefully put a little band-aid after their collisions with the wall. Through the tunnel section, Mellengard is right on the back of Crunchy Trees. No room for error here as he looks to take the inside into turn 10. Is he going to be able to get around that? Yes, indeed he is. He takes the position from Crunchy Trees. Really excellent driving from Mellengard in there. Kudos to that young man. Excellent job as he'll start to pull away here from Crunchy Trees, but then in the wall, oh, unbelievable. Bad luck for Melon Garden. Able to get back on the track, but tragedy indeed as he's able to sneak by Crunchy Trees, but then immediately finds the wall, and now Crunchy Trees having trouble keeping it on the track. He'll head into the pits, as will Melon Garden. Oh, that's bad luck for both of those drivers. So Vapor Trench, with the fortunate double pass after the collision, finds himself in P5, and he continues to plod along, doing what Vapor Trench does best. Let's see if we can find another close interval here. Hop on board with Trulson looking to chase down Let's Get Fiscal. Let's Get Fiscal about a second and a half behind Big Baguette. Big Baguette has closed that gap on the first place Ace Cobalt down to about half a second now. And Let's Get Fiscal able to put a little bit of space between himself and Trulson with the excellent exit into the tunnel. Looks to close the gap ever so slightly on Big Baguette. Really handles turns 10 and 11 like a boss. Nice driving there from Let's Get Fiscal. Looking down now at Melon Garden. Melon Garden, a lot of drivers actually on the hards now. Crunchy Trees, Worry Cloud, Red Sniper, Melon Garden, Nicholas Volkman all opting for the hards. Josh Smith is as well with the early pit. Meanwhile, our other early pitting drivers, Sim opts for the softs. That's an interesting choice. Gino and Gourlay both onto the mediums. And Crunchy Trees is into the pits now with his fresh hard tires. So I'm assuming we have a bit of damage there for Crunchy Trees as he is back into the pits once again. Things are tightening up here at the top. Big Baguette about 0.4 of a second back of Ace Cobalt. Let's Get Fiscal was briefly inside of a second behind Big Baguette. Falls once again outside of that second mark. And of course, as soon as I say that, he's dropped it down under 0.8 of a second behind Big Baguette. So Cobalt maybe losing a little bit of pace and allowing Big Baguette and Let's Get Fiscal to bunch up behind him. KJ also looking to follow close behind Vapor Trench. I'm not sure he's going to get much of an opportunity to get a pass done here, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. Going back up to the top, Big Baguette looking to make a pass, I imagine, at some point this lap on Ace Cobalt. We'll probably also see, I would imagine, a couple of pit stops from these two drivers. They probably have another 2, maybe 3 laps they can get out of these soft tires, but then we'll almost certainly see them head into the pits, and it'll be interesting to see if they opt for the mediums and hope for the best, or if they go on to hards to finish out this race. We see our top 4 still pretty close to each other, all within about 2 seconds between first and fourth, and then a bit of a drop off to Vapor Trench, about 2.5 seconds behind, but certainly making up time on Trulson. And it looks like the pass is gonna have to wait for at least another lap here from Big Baguette. These drivers are all almost exactly equidistant apart from each other, these top 4. Just waiting to see who blinks first. Look how close those top 3 are. And Fiscal's done really well to keep pace with the very speedy Cobalt, and of course Big Baguette, who has that nice balance between consistency and speed. A little bit of contact between these two. Wow. Big Baguette not really giving Cobalt the room, and now Fiscal is going to slip by the outside, going into turn 12. Nice work from Let's Get Fiscal, making Big Baguette pay for that move. Let's Get Fiscal now up into P2. And we see Cobalt into the pits. It looks like both Big Baguette and Let's Get Fiscal and Trulson and Vapor Trench all staying out. Cobalt the first driver to head into the pits from this top group. I assume he probably thought that we would see a couple of drivers follow him into the pits, but unfortunately not. And now we'll wait and see if he can get out ahead of Lesty the Twig. It's going to be very, very close. It looks like Lesty is going to be able to get by Cobalt, so Cobalt will come out into P7. Meanwhile, as soon as we switch to Big Baguette, he goes into the wall, manages to not lose any time, and Ace Cobalt picks up a penalty at some point. Have to check in on that and see where that is. Meanwhile, Sim the Legend looks like he's run into some trouble. Has it going again, but certainly losing one or two positions there to Josh Smithness and Gourlay, and now Crunchy Trees also passing Sim the Legend. Let's Get Fiscal got a pass done on Big Baguette as well, so he's, sorry, that happened the lap before that. He's in the lead because we saw Cobalt head into the pits. So Fiscal doing his best to separate himself from Big Baguette. And we do see both Fiscal and Big Baguette head into the pits. And it looks like Trulson will be our last driver on the softs. Check that. KJ also out on the softs, now into P2 behind Trulson. And it'll be interesting to see where these drivers come out. Vapor Trench also into the pits. Let's see if Lesty manages to get by these drivers before they come out. Indeed, they will. Lesty into P3 just ahead of Big Baguette. Cobalt also able to get out. Fiscal, a bit of a slow trip in the pits, out 7th. Fiscal on those medium tires. Have to see how those hold up. And it looks like we may see Lesty the Twig lead for a couple of laps at least until Big Baguette gets an opportunity to pass on his much fresher medium tires. Cobalt on those hards. Certainly going to be interesting to see if the mediums hold up for Big Baguette. Certainly Cobalt looking to take those hards all the way to the end of this race. And Big Baguette already looking to make that move on Lesty the Twig. Oh, Lesty the Twig damage. Takes that corner a little too short. Able to get out of the way for the most part. Big Baguette might have lost a bit of his wing there. Let's see if we can get a view of that wing. Let's see. It looks like it's still intact, so no damage from Big Baguette. Very, very fortunate after the miscue from Lesty. And Lesty finds himself all the way back in P10 after that. Very unfortunate for him. And we finally do see Trulson head into the pits, as does KJ. So Cobalt back up in the lead, and Big Baguette back in second. And guess who? Vapor Trench in P3. Certainly knew that he was going to be a factor in this race, regardless of starting out in 7th. He was always going to be in this thing. Meanwhile, this little battle between Melon Garden and Red Sniper wages on. Melon Garden about 0.3 of a second back on Red Sniper. And we saw Melon Garden have a very nice pass earlier on Crunchy Trees and then immediately send himself full speed into a wall. Ooh, Red Sniper loses a piece of the wing there. And Red Sniper certainly had a race to forget, as he'll, even though his tires are relatively fresh, gonna have to make another stop in the pits. Driving in Monaco without a wing is terribly, terribly difficult. So we'll certainly see, I imagine, Red Sniper heading into the pits. Let's see if we can see. Yeah, it looks like that left wing end plate is gone from Red Sniper. Let's see how it's handling. Really tough on those right turns. Doing his best to make up for it. As we see Gino Giuseppe picking up a 3-second time penalty there. We'll just have to wait and see how long Red Sniper pushes it with the missing wing. He's certainly playing with fire here in Monaco. without that wing end plate. Let's Get Fiscal having worked his way by KJ. He's back into P5 now, chasing down Trulson. Really good battle brewing as Red Sniper tries to hold on with the missing left wing end plate as Red Sniper unfortunately gathering a 3-second penalty. I mean, I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to stay out here with that missing wing. He's really, I think, got to get it sorted. He's going to pick up a lot more penalties. We just saw him corner cut once again. And he will indeed head into the pits. He's decided one penalty is quite enough. Thank you very much. He'll head into the pits and do his best to get out in the best shape possible. Meanwhile, these top 5 drivers, all on mediums with the exception of our leader Cobalt on the hards, continue to do battle. Very, very close racing. And KJ not too far behind, under a second behind Let's Get Fiscal. And even Worry Cloud looking to get in the mix here. And Trulson looking to make a pass on Vapor Trench. Not quite the pace he's going to need to do that, no sir. So he'll back off for now. Top 5 very, very close. A lot of fun here. Still have yet to see a safety car, virtual or otherwise. So kudos to these drivers for keeping it, for the most part, clean. We have seen a couple of cars spin out or in contact with the wall, but overall, most impressive indeed. Giuseppe picking up another 3-second time penalty. Corley joins him in that 3-second. We do have a virtual safety car. Not sure who that was. I'm guessing, yes, indeed, Gino Giuseppe triggering that virtual safety car, it looks like. Gino Giuseppe having a lot of trouble here in Monaco. Maybe not exactly his strength, I would imagine. And Gino Giuseppe will DNF at this point. He will be our first DNF driver. So bad luck for Gino Giuseppe as we continue under this virtual safety car. Should lift here, I imagine, momentarily. As we still see our top 6 drivers very, very close to each other. And virtual safety car has lifted. And we go back. Worry Cloud's car making all sorts of funky noises. Maybe a bit of trouble with clutch. Who knows? Looking now back on with our top few drivers. Cobalt doing excellent work to lead this pack. Top 5 pulling away just a little bit from KJ. just look how close these top 5 drivers are. A lot of fun for sure. That being said, it looks like Cobalt is putting a little bit of distance between himself and Baguette. Baguette holding up the pack, maybe just a little bit behind him on these medium tires. We do have a yellow flag in Sector 2. I imagine that is Gourlay or Sim the Legend, maybe? Not entirely sure. Whatever it is, it has lifted, so won't pay it too much mind. Ooh, as we see Cobalt lose it just a little bit, that allows Big Baguette to get right back on his fender. See Volkman heading into the pits, and he will DNF into the pits as he was about to be lapped. So Nicholas Volkman will also DNF this race. Certainly itching for some points is Nicholas Volkman. And then there were 14. Still quite a fun race with our top 5 all within a couple of seconds of each other. Also the tire assortments, very interesting. Our top 5, 4 of the 5 on those mediums. Cobalt on the hards, leading the way. Still showing very impressive pace, even on those hard tires. As we see Red Sniper's slingshot past Crunchy Trees into P10. Red Sniper will continue to go to work, now looking to track down Lessie the Twig. Let's Get Fiscal falls off this pack just a little bit. Still 4 drivers very, very close, including Trulson, Vapor Trench, Big Baguette, and Ace Cobalt. Ooh, who's that in the wall there? Not entirely sure who that was. Melon Garden, maybe? No, I'm not sure. Perhaps Sim the Legend. That would be my guess. Yeah, it had to have been Sim the Legend. As we see, he's been lapped by our top 6 drivers. Red Sniper setting a fastest lap. Nice work for him on our captain of the Racing Point F1 team. Fiscal jumping back in on this train. Big Baguette falling about a second back of Cobalt. Waiting to see if Cobalt makes another mistake. Cobalt does have a penalty. In fact, let's see how many seconds of penalties that is. He's got 6 seconds of penalties according to our tracker there. That could certainly come into play. It's going to be very difficult to get that kind of separation from the drivers of such high quality behind. Right now, 6 seconds of penalties would put him back around P6, P7. Vapor Trench itching to get by Big Baguette and chase down Cobalt himself. Leslie the Twig being passed there by Red Sniper. Red Sniper, just a few moments ago, P11, has managed to chase down Leslie the Twig, who had about a 3-second interval. Meanwhile, Vapor Trench almost got by Big Baguette there. Looks like Big Baguette's back in that position, having lost a second or so. So I'm guessing there was some sort of maybe a small collision or spin out. As Cobalt is now starting to build on that lead. Halfway through the race here in Monaco. Leslie the Twig picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Vapor Trench once again taking a peek there on the outside of Big Baguette. Takes a bit of a wide turn and not able to get a move done quite yet. Just a little bit of contact with the wall there. We get trying to cut into that 2-second interval that Cobalt has built up out in the leader spot. Meanwhile, Mellengarden looking to get by Worried Cloud inside of 0.3 of a second. Very, very close. Let's see if Mellengarden can get another pass in here. Certainly not looking promising. So we'll check back with that momentarily. Sim the Legend picking up a 3-second time penalty. Currently back about a lap's worth from Lessie the Twig. Do have a yellow flag in Sector 2. Is that Sim? It is indeed Sim the Legend. So he's once again found a wall here in Monaco. And he'll get back on the track. Gotta give him a lot of credit for sticking with it. As Sim the Legend has now been lapped by everyone on the field. Big Baguette picks up a 3-second time penalty. That could be really big moving forward. I would say there's still 6 drivers that have a legitimate shot at a podium here. And that's assuming we don't get any late race safety car shenanigans. So it could be very, very interesting. Sven is commenting in the chat that Sim is certainly not been able to find his setup, having trouble with the grip, as I think once again he's struggling there. Might look to get a pass on Vapor Trench here. Vapor Trench able to take that very clean. Turns 10 and 11, so no pass done for Trulson. So Cobalt has that 2-second interval. Hasn't really lost any time since he's gained that advantage, but hasn't really lost any either. Big Baguette basically at this point matching pace with Cobalt. Now Big Baguette starts to make a little bit of a dent in that interval. Down to about a second and a half. See if he can stick with it, continue the impressive pace that he had here in lap 25 into lap 26. That's some good driving there from Big Baguette, as now he's coming up to Sim the Legend. Let's see if Sim gives him the pass here, as this will be the second lap that Sim was passed by Cobalt. Now 2 laps behind our lap leader is Sim the Legend. Our race leader, I should say. And Sim causing an intentional safety car there. That has got to be very frustrating indeed, as he just lets frustration take the best of him, and lucky not to cause any collateral damage on Cobalt or Big Baguette, but he just full sends, and we will have a safety car here in lap 26. And right when Cobalt had started to build a bit of a lead, we get a safety car. In fact, Cobalt's going to head into the pits with those hard tires, deciding to give up the lead. Probably really can't even make softs work. Maybe switching over to mediums, but he's going to lose a lot of time here. And indeed, he will come out on the mediums in around P6. So we'll have the fresher mediums, but in Monaco, making up 5 positions is going to be very, very difficult. He's going to have to really work his magic through traffic. And I just know that's got to be really frustrating for the rest of our drivers on the grid when a driver decides to basically forfeit his own race, costing others in potentially large ways with ramifications by heading straight into the wall. I think Cobalt may be taking a look at his 6 seconds of penalties and deciding that he's just going to play it safe for points at this point. But I mean, that's just got to be so irritating. Taking a quick look at our racing director, let's see what kind of penalties we have, as we see Baguette getting a 3-second penalty there. Vapor Trench with only a warning. Trulson has at least, yeah, it looks like a couple warnings to his name. Let's get Fiscal, not so much as a warning. KJ, just the 1 warning. Cobalt, yeah, it looks like he's got a couple of penalties there. Red Sniper has a penalty, 2 penalties. Let's see, Melon Garden, clean race so far. Word Cloud, a couple of warnings, but other than that, all set. And Crunchy Tree, so that's our top 10. And we'll wait at this point for the safety car to do its thing. As our drivers group back up, we have our top 7 back with the pack, as drivers 8 and 9 also rejoin the pack. Looks like Crunchy should have no trouble rejoining. Certainly things have taken a turn for the interesting now, as the safety car will come off with about 10 laps to go. Should be quite the sprint to the end. See if these medium tires can hold up for the final 10 laps. should be really, really interesting to see. They'll be about 27 laps old. So that'll be Cobalt's best chance, is just hoping that the medium tires don't make it to the end. As Gourlay picks up another 3-second time penalty, trying to catch back up to this pack. Alright, so this will be our final lap with the safety car, and we will see a 9-lap sprint here. It's going to be very interesting to see if the medium tires hold up. For those in the chat, let me know if you think that these medium tires are going to hold up for the rest of this race. Big Baguette gets the restart there. No feint whatsoever, just right to gas the pedal. Come across down here as KJ bumped and into the wall, and we have a yellow flag on KJ, AlphaTauri driver. And KJ will end up all the way at the back on this restart. It looks like he made contact with Cobalt on the back tire and was just spun into the wall. So the safety car costing KJ a lot here in this race. Meanwhile, our race leader, Big Baguette, currently sitting on 3 seconds worth of penalties. Vapor Trench looking like he's in good position if the tires hold up to a solid race finish. We'll have to see if Cobalt decides to make a move sooner rather than later, as we see Les the Twig picking up a 3-second penalty. Ooh, and Let's Get Fiscal into the wall, able to keep it on the track, but very, very fortunate to A, not take any damage, but B, to not spin the front around and find a wall. I can't tell if his left end plate is off. It looks like it might be, and that's going to really cost. Yeah, it looks like the left end plate for the wing there is off for Let's Get Fiscal. So that's going to be absolutely tragic for Let's Get Fiscal, who looked like he was in for a really solid finish. He might even have to pit. We'll have to see if he can keep it together enough to have a solid finish. There are penalties in front of him, so if he can just hang tight with this pack, he still might have a go at it, but it's going to be really, really challenging in Monaco to not have that wing fully intact. Do have DRS enabled now. Let's see how Fiscal handles the missing end plate, as he has foregone the pit in this last lap. So certainly, I think, making the decision to stay out even with the missing wing end plate. coming up out of the tunnels where we'll really get to see how much missing end plate affects Let's Get Fiscal, as he's going to have a lot of trouble on this particular part of the track right here. And honestly handling it pretty well, all things considered. At this point, Trulson or Trench looking like they're going to be in really good shape if the tires hold up. You see Cobalt right on the back of Trulson here. Careful, Cobalt. Don't do the same thing you did to KJ. As we do see KJ deciding to DNF after the collision with Cobalt. Trulson able to shake that contact off for now. This is where Cobalt will get by Trulson. Lots of contact on that pass, but able to get it done, and Cobalt into third. Certainly playing fast and loose is Cobalt, but pushing up into P3 now. And Fiscal once again compensating very well for that missing wing end plate as Worry Cloud picking up a 3-second time penalty. Very, very close here. So Big Baguette and Vapor Trench neck and neck here, 6 laps to go. Possible for me to see what their tires are looking like, but I imagine that they are beginning to show some wear, as Fiscal not only having to compensate for the end plate, but also having that same wear that our leaders have certainly could cost him a bit, as Cobalt's opened up quite a good little chunk of the lead on Trulson. And now gets to work on Vapor Trench. Bumping Vapor Trench just a little bit there. Trench able to hold on no problem. Cobalt really making the most of these very fresh medium tires. Meanwhile, the two in front have very, very worn medium tires that will hopefully last them 5 more laps, but remains to be seen. Fiscal doing a really nice job with that missing end plate. Really got to give him a lot of credit for racing so well, as we see Gourlay found a wall there. Crunchy Tree setting a fastest lap. Nice work, Crunchy Trees. I just can't believe that Fiscal's getting this kind of pace, given the wing damage that he has. But indeed he is, as Big Baguette looks to take that interval up over a second from Vapor Trench. Meanwhile, Cobalt trying to get by Vapor Trench as best he can. And Cobalt picks up yet another 3-second penalty. So that'll be 9 seconds of penalties for Cobalt. Certainly just being very, very aggressive through the last portions of this race. Thought about a pass there, thinks better of it, backs off just a little bit as Red Sniper heads into the pits now. Big Baguette does get that interval up over a second now on Vapor Trench. He'll have to build it up just a bit more as he does have 3 seconds of penalties. Cobalt's still looking for a way by Vapor Trench. Figures in for a penny, in for a pound. With the penalties he already has, he's going to do his best to get a pass done on Vapor Trench. Still being very, very aggressive. Trench, a little bit of contact off that wall, still able to maintain the lead on Cobalt. Big Baguette getting that interval up to 2 seconds. Can he build it up 1 more second in the last 2.5 or so laps? That is the question. Or will Vapor Trench hold on and take the podium himself here in Monaco? Will Fiscal be able to somehow grab a podium? He's got to get by Trulson. Oh, Vapor Trench into the wall. Wow! That has changed everything. Wow. So Big Baguette does indeed have the interval needed for the first place finish, even with the penalty. And that might have just earned Let's Get Fiscal a shot at a podium here. As Trulson also is having a very nice race. Trench out of turn 1 into the wall. That is just an absolute tragedy, as Vapor Trench will retire from the session, and we'll have a yellow flag for him. That is absolutely heartbreaking for Vapor Trench, having won 2 races already this season. Unfortunately, will DNF, and that's our 5th DNF here in Monaco. So it looks like my over-under was pretty much spot on. Assuming that everyone from here on out finishes the race. Let's see how these tires hold up here as we go into, in just moments, our final lap. It seems like Baguette will comfortably be able to finish at the top of this race. His first win of the season, currently in 7th in the points, so definitely quite the boon for Big Baguette. Well done, sir, as still a lap to go, so don't maybe start celebrating quite so soon. But knowing Baguette's track record, no pun intended, he certainly has the ability to get it done. We do see a little bit of gas issues for Let's Get Fiscal, as Cobalt also having some gas issues. We'll have to see if they can hold on for this last lap. Still very, very tight here at the top. We'll have to see just how far Cobalt is going to fall with those 9 seconds of penalties. Let's Get Fiscal still hanging on, man. I'll tell you what. Guy is really putting on a show with that messed up end plate. And here we go, guys, right across the line. It's Big Baguette getting the win. Cobalt coming across the line second, but he'll definitely drop as Trulson second. Let's Get Fiscal third. Melengard fourth. Josh Smith is fifth. Cobalt drops all the way to sixth. Rory Cloud comes across the line in seventh. We'll see Lesty the Twig come across in eighth. Red Sniper just behind Lesty in ninth. Crunchy Trees jumps up to eighth, so that drops Lesty and Red Sniper. And then last but not least will be Gourlay bringing up the rear of this pack. Wow, what a finish here in Monaco. An absolute heartbreaker for both Vapor Trench and KJ, as that safety car really cost KJ, and then Vapor Trench with 3 laps to go finds the corner coming out of turn 1. So big congratulations to Big Baguette. That's his first win of Season 9. Some much-needed points for him. Trulson, excellent finish for you. P2, I would say arguably my driver of the day has to go to Trulson, as he did a really nice job hanging tough with those top drivers throughout, and really maintained his position. So my driver of the day nod has to go to Trulson. Well done, sir. Nice clean race from you, and a well-deserved P2 finish. But the man of the day is that man right there, Big Baguette, getting the win here in Monaco, one of the most difficult places to run a race. So 4 races down in F1, it will be exciting to see how that affects our leaderboard. Give me just a moment here to get some invites. So if you will give me just a moment here, I'll try to get some drivers on for our post-race interviews. Just sit tight and we'll see if our drivers would like to come have a word with their favorite announcer. One moment, please. Alright, so invites have been sent out, and we will await our top 3 finishers in Monaco, hopefully momentarily.
Hello.
Fiscal, congratulations on the 3rd place today. Do you mind sending out an invite to Trulson if he's still around into the party?
Sure. Now invite them.
Alrighty. Okay, so wow, what a race that was. It was certainly exciting, huh? No doubt about that.
That's one way to describe it.
Yeah. So first thing I'm going to ask you, obviously, is about your teammate. Kind of deciding to kamikaze there in about the 29th lap and really shaking things up. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if it's deliberate, it's against the rules. So we'll have to see. It obviously ruined Cobalt's race quite a lot. But maybe disconnected, we'll see. I don't know, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it certainly does not look good, but I'm sure that the stewards will take good care of that for sure. So I noticed there for your last, 7, 8 laps or so, you were missing a little something on your car. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, a little bit of front wing, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I felt the pressure from behind from Cobalt. I knew he was on fresher tyres. Made a stupid mistake, hit the wall. He was going to get past me anyway, I think. So it didn't actually affect things too much, unlike my pit crew not coming out on the pit stop. The classic 8.5 second pit stop instead of the 2.5.
Yeah, I noticed you dropped quite a few positions out of that pit stop for sure.
Yeah, I mean, track position's key on this track, and that literally was the win. If the pit crew were on time, I'd have been P1. And as long as I didn't make any mistakes, I'd have been finishing P1. But these things happen. I'll take P3.
That they do, yeah, and a well-earned P3 indeed. So congratulations to you, sir. Excellent race run, and well done driving under, not the best of conditions, given the front wing damage. Well done indeed. So moving on, do we have Trulson? Has he joined us here?
We do.
Excellent. Hey, Trulson. So first thing I want to talk to you about, what are your feelings in general when it comes to Monaco? You know, it definitely, yeah, it definitely didn't show there today. You really grinded it out. You know, you had a really nice qualifying, and then you just pretty much stuck to it, top 3 or 4, all the way through the race. You know, really not making any mistakes, no penalties. So how are you feeling now, having run a really, honestly, quite brilliant Monaco? That's excellent, yeah. That would have been pretty devastating indeed. So through this point, 4 races down, what are your thoughts? Oh, Trulson, apparently they can't hear you on the stream, buddy. I think you gotta allow voice sharing on the party.
From the top?
From the top. We'll take it again from the top. If you go to party settings, I believe that there is a setting that you can
I
click.
think it's there now.
Ah, cool.
Sorry.
That's all right. So just to recap, Trulson believes he had one of the best qualifying laps he's ever had in Monaco. Not overly fond of the track as a whole, but I was just commending him on you know, an excellent race top to bottom. Trulson, you did get my driver of the day nod just due to your unbelievably consistent driving today. So big kudos to you on that. Any parting thoughts at this point through the season? 4 races down, a bit of a shortened season here in Season 9. What are your thoughts moving forward?
Yeah, this was by far my best race so far, so yeah, more of this.
More of this, yeah, just you got to keep on that consistency, right? And we'll see you at the top in no time whatsoever. Trulson, congratulations on the P2, man, and best of luck moving forward.
Thanks, bro.
All right, Big Baguette. I guess you just needed your favorite announcer back to get, you know, back on the podium. P1 finish. How you feeling?
I'm feeling alright. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. yeah.
Fair enough. No, well said indeed. As always, Big Baguette. So I think the big question that I have for you is, you know, you pick up that penalty out of the safety car, that 3-second pen.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts coming out of that? Did you think that you would, you know, a few laps later be the race champion?
No. I think I actually got damage as well a couple laps before I got that penalty. So when I got the penalty, I truly thought it was basically finished because I had Trench obviously before he DNF'd, and I think Kieran as well before he got his damage. They were all, you know, under 3 seconds and closing in quick. So I thought it was sort of over, but you know, I guess sort of things played in my favour towards the end, and I managed to sort of push and pull a decent enough gap to sort of get the win.
Yeah, how were those tires looking at the end?
Oh, yeah, they were done. I think they were about sort of 70% tire wear, so I think a puncture was sort of
eminent.
Was around there, yeah, definitely.
Well, you know, excellent job for you getting back on the leaderboard, your first win of Season 9. What can we expect for you moving forward in Season 9?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a bit unpredictable. I might not be able to race certain races, so we'll sort of just have to see moving forward. But as long as I'm racing, I'm always going to be sort of hopefully up there fighting for the win. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, fair enough. Hey, so one last quick question from the chat. There's a certain Lesty F1 who would just like to ask, why are you so cocky?
Who's Lesty F1? I've never heard of him.
I've never heard of him either. I guess just some guy who, I don't know.
Some
I think
random,
he calls himself driver of the day. I'm not sure. We all know that the only driver of the day is the one that I give to.
Trulson. Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
100%.
absolutely trusted. Well, Big Baguette, as always, an absolute pleasure to chat with you. Congratulations on the win, and best of luck moving forward.
Thanks, mate.
So for everyone here, this is your man on the mic, Ben Silver, saying it was a lot of fun here in Monaco, and we look forward to doing it again next week.